Hi everybody, welcome to This Day in History. This is where the Scott Show, where you can find at thescottshow.com, hint hint, wink wink, check it out. Thescottshow.com hosts this Day in History to find out what happened on this day in history, including in 976, 986, where Louis V becomes King of the Franks, or 1127, when the assassination of Charles the Good, Count of Flanders, happened. 1484, the College of Arms is officially incorporated by the Royal Charter signed by King Richard III of England. In 1561, Mendoza, Argentina is founded by Conquistador Pedro Casillo. In 1717, The Loves of Mars and Venus is the first ballet performed in England. 1776, American Revolutionary War. Patriot militia units arrest the Royal Governor of Virginia, James Wright, and attempt to prevent capture of supply ships in the Battle of the Rice Boats. 1797, the Bank of England issues the first £1 and £2 banknotes. In 1807, the U.S. Congress passes the Act forbidding importation of slaves, disallowing the importation of new slaves into the country. In 1808, the inaugural meeting of the Natural History Society, a former Scottish Learned Society, is held in Edinburgh. In 1811, the Argentinian War of Independence, a royalist fleet defeats a small group of revolutionary ships in the Battle of San Nicolas on the River Plate. In 1815, the signing of the Kandyan Convention Treaty by invaders of Britain and the leaders of the Kingdom of Kandy. In 1836, the Texas Revolution, the Declaration of Independence of the Republic of Texas from Mexico, is adopted. In 1855, Alexander II becomes the Tsar of Russia. In 1859, the two-day Great Slave Auction, the largest such auction in the United States history, begins. 1865, the East Cape War, the Valkyr incident in New Zealand. 1867, the U.S. Congress passes the first Reconstruction Act. In 1877, the United States presidential election. In 1876, 2 days before the inauguration, Congress declares Rutherford B. Hayes the winner of election, even though Samuel Tilden won the popular vote. In 1882, Queen Victoria escapes an assassination attempt in Windsor. 1901, the U.S. Steel Corporation is founded as a result of the merger between Carnegie Steel and Federal Steel, which became the first corporation in the world with a market capital over $1 billion. This happened in 1901. In 1901, also, the Congress passes the Platt Amendment, limiting the autonomy of Cuba, a condition of the withdrawal of American troops. 1903, in New York City, the Martha Washington Hotel opens, becoming the first hotel exclusively for women. 1917, the enactment of the Jones-Farrow Act grants Puerto Ricans United States citizenship. 1919, the first Communist International meets in Moscow. 1933, King Kong opens in New York's Radio City Music Hall. 1937, the Steel Workers Organized Committee signs a collective bargaining agreement with U.S. Steel, leading to the unionization of the steel industry. 1939, Cardinal Pacelli is elected Pope and takes the name Pius XII. 1943, in the Battle of Bismarck Sea, United States and Australian forces sink Japanese convoy ships. 1946, Ho Chi Minh is elected the president of North Vietnam. 1956, Morocco gains its independence from France. 1961, John F. Kennedy, announces the creation of the Peace Corps in a nationally televised broadcast. 1962, Wilt Chamberlain sets a single-game scoring record in the National Basketball Association by scoring 100 points in a game. 1965, the U.S. and the Republic of Vietnam Air Force began Operation Rolling Thunder, a sustained bombing campaign against North Vietnam. In 1970, Rhodesia declares itself a republic, breaking its last links with the British Crown. In 1972, the Pioneer 10 space probe is launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida, with the mission to explore the outer planets. 1983, compact discs and players are released for the first time in the United States. They are previously available only in Japan. 1989, 12 European unions agree to ban all production of CFCs by the end of the century. 1990, Nelson Mandela is elected Deputy President of the African National Congress. In 1995, researchers at Fermilab announced the discovery of the top quark. Also in 1995, Yahoo is incorporated. Back in 1998, data sent by the Galileo spacecraft indicates that Jupiter's moon has a liquid ocean with a thick crust of ice. 2002, the invasion of Afghanistan, where Operation Anaconda begins, ending on March 19th after killing 500 Taliban and Al-Qaeda fighters. In 2012, a tornado outbreak occurs on a large section of the southern United States. And there you go on that. Okay, so those were the items that happened on this day in history. We got some births to talk about, including Pope Adrian VI. Pope Pius XII actually was given his pope, the beginning of his papacy started on his birthday. Dr. Seuss was born this day in history. So was Desi Arnaz, famous. I love Desi Arnaz. I think he's amazing. John Collum is the oldest person still with us with the Wikipedia. So happy birthday to John. Mikhail Gorbachev, Gene Stallings, Lorraine Newman. Happy birthday to Lorraine. Russ Feingold. It's John Bon Jovi's birthday today. Mike Von Erich, Ron Gant, Daniel Craig, James Bond himself. Happy birthday to Method Man, Chris Martin, Rebel Wilson, who's hilariously funny, and Ben Roethlisberger. Happy birthday to all of them. A few deaths I want to make note of here. Champ Clark died 1921. He was the 41st Speaker of the House of Representatives. Marge Schott, who owned the Cincinnati Reds, died this day in 2004. And Jeff Healey, from the Jeff Healey Band, died in 2008. It's Air Force Day in Sri Lanka. It's Peasants Day in Burma, and it is Texas Independence Day. So check all that out. That's what we get with checkiday.com. You can check all that out. We do that with the Scott Show Wake Up Call. And thank you so very much for checking out this day in history. We'll see you guys here very soon on the ScottShow.com.